Today we're at the beautiful Montague Apple Orchard in Narre Warren North, and I'm joined by Rowan Little. Rowan, you've got the best title at Montague, and I'm going to get it right, the Chief Innovation Officer.
Correct.
I mean, it just means you get to eat lots of apples and decide which is the best apple.
True.
Which is, I mean, what a job. And you've been doing it for a while.
Yes.
And this is, I think, one of your, one of the ones you picked out years ago.
It was, yeah, early 2000s. We actually call that Fresh because that was a tree.
Yep.
So it's interesting the way you do apple variety innovation is you pick the tree and the fruit comes by a different name.
Yeah,
so the plant material is called Fresh and the apple's called Jazz.
I like it. And Jazz apple's been one of the success stories of the new wave of apples. Would that be right to say?
100%. Like when I first found Jazz, I think we had Gala, Granny Smith and Pink Lady in the market, and it was pretty flat. And so when we brought that in, everyone went, wow, this is like an apple should taste.
I like that. So this would be one you're really proud of?
100%. Like this is the one we've got the most trees in the ground. We've got over 500,000 trees planted across Australia.
And how many apples on a tree? Let's do the numbers.
We talk about it's probably about 150 apples per tree.
That's a lot of Jazz apples out there.
That's a lot of Jazz apples.
And you're very responsible for it, which is very cool. I think you're then the perfect person to cook this recipe with.
Excellent.
So we're going to make a Jazz apple and pork rissole. Really simple, but I love a rissole. Nice weather. You want to cook something like a bit meaty, something to warm you up. Jazz, they come into range middle of the year, is that right?
Yeah, look, we will harvest the first Jazz sort of late March. But I think that they're quite acidic off the tree and they mellow, so I think winter for a recipe like this is perfect.
It's perfect. So something when you want a bit of a warmer, but you want something still fresh and refreshing, which is what apples are. It's a perfect combination. So we're going to make a really simple dish. You're going to grate a couple of Jazz apple for me.
Okay.
Nice big grate on there. Use the box grater.
Yep.
It's also good with the kids if you want to kind of sneak a bit of extra stuff into a rissole. If you want to get a bit of extra veg in there or a bit of extra fruit, this is a great way to do it and get them eating delicious apples like this. So I reckon let's start with one and see how much we get.
Let's get rid of the sticker.
Yeah. The sticker's done its job.
It's done its job.
Now, I've got an onion here that I just lightly caramelised, just till it's softened, but I didn't want to add any colour. So I want the onion flavour and a little bit of texture, but I don't want to go too sweet because the more you caramelise an onion, the sweeter it gets. And we've got our sweetness coming from somewhere else. So your handiwork's done the sweetness. So I'm just going to go the onion for a bit of flavour and texture. And then I've got some fennel seed here. Now, for me, fennel seed and pork's great, but fennel seed, pork and apple is one of those amazing
100%.
combinations.
Apples and pork go super well.
So well. I mean, this, I'm already thinking, if you didn't want to make rissoles, you could wrap this in pastry and you've got a pork, apple and fennel sausage roll that's pretty tasty as well. Now, some parsley in here. Things like thyme, tarragon also go really well. But I like that sort of slightly floral flavour you get from parsley and that sort of, that little bit of freshness. Good pinch of salt just to season it and balance everything out. And let's see how much apple we've got there. If we want to go a little bit more, I think we want to do, that's a pretty good amount. Let's go one more.
One more apple?
Yeah, I reckon. That looks great. Now, Rowan, tell me, you do lots of cooking with apple? I mean, you got access to apples.
Yeah. Apples and stone fruit are my specialty.
Nice.
Yes, there's always a dish. Every dish benefits from apples or stone fruit, one or the other.
I agree.
100%. Even when you're camping.
The more time I spend here, the more I come up with really cool and interesting ways to incorporate apples and stone fruit into cooking, and it's never a bad thing. It's always delicious.
It's always a good thing.
It's always a good time, and I think the more varieties of apples and stone fruit you discover, the more dishes I get to cook. So I love it. It's a good combination. Now,
and look, I mean, you can generally substitute apple juice for sugar in just about every recipe.
Yeah, totally.
It just changes the dynamics. So.
There you go. You're the innovator. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. Now, do you want to do me a favour? Just a good turning of black pepper, because another thing that's going to really help accentuate the flavours in this dish is some black pepper. Got a nice coarse grind on it too, so you will get a little pop of pepper. Obviously, if kids are eating this, you're a bit worried about it being too spicy for them. Pull it back or leave it out. But I think for us,
what about for the spicy piece? Could you put some, a
bit of chilli would go well.
Chilli,
yeah, absolutely.
Go really well.
Bit of chilli. I mean, if you wanted to, just thinking, freshening it up and making it a little bit different, the same base, but instead of the parsley, put some coriander in there, some chilli, and even like a little bit of fish sauce would be really lovely in there as well. And then the apple adding that sort of the sweetness that you need in that sort of Southeast Asian cuisine.
Well, I always think that a little bit of chilli will accentuate that apple flavour too.
I like that.
When you cook it.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. You know apples better than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. So that's our mixture made. And you can just see, for me, going to get a bit messy because you have to make your rissoles, but what you want to do is just be able to press it together and it's a hold.
And no egg.
I don't like adding egg because it gets firm and tight, and I don't like overworking it. So it's going to be about having the right balance of meat to apple, and then just working it carefully like that to make a really beautiful rissole.
Nice.
So, and again, you know, for the kids, you can make smaller ones. Again, this would go great in a sausage roll mix. It's the recipe for next year. That's next season.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so I'm going to put a pan on. And do you want to pass me a bit of that extra virgin olive oil?
I wouldn't.
A little drizzle of this, just into our nice griddle pan, or even on a barbecue, that'd be really, really nice.
Yes.
It's not always barbecue weather here in summer, but, you know, other parts of the country, they can barbecue year-round, the lucky buggers. So we'll go in a pan. Nice high heat. And look, let's do a few rissoles here. Again, you can make them smaller to put into a salad.
You don't need any flour or anything, straight on the oil.
Bit of salt and the right amount of pork to apple, and they'll hold together nicely. Yeah. I just find that the flour and the egg just make it a bit tough. So Mum would tell me I'm doing the wrong thing because she put heaps of egg in hers.
Yeah, my mum would tell me the same.
Or breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
So what we'll do now, I'll just keep making a couple more rissoles. We'll keep cooking them to the beautiful golden on both sides and then cook through. We'll come back, make a little salad to go with it, and we've got a pretty quick and easy dinner.
Nice.
Rowan, our rissoles are looking perfect. You can see that nice caramelisation on the outside. The apples colour a little bit. You're going to have a nice little sweet, slightly bitter char to them, and then that really delicious pork and apple centre.
Smell amazing.
Smell good, don't they?
Yeah, smell really good.
The apple just adds a brightness that you don't get otherwise. And then, just to make it look a bit chefy, I've made a really nice, light, fresh fennel salad. So fennel, some fennel tops, a bit of dill, some Brussels sprouts and some red onion, and I've just dressed it in a little mustard vinaigrette, and then a nice big pile of that on top. So you grab a rissole, grab a bit of the slaw or the salad, and it's a really beautiful way to enjoy a pretty quick and easy meal. I mean, it's not Mum's rissole, it's a bit fancier than that because you've grown these amazing apples for us, but it is a pretty humble, easy dish to cook at home, and I love the way it really shows off those beautiful jazz apples that you discovered all those years ago. So, Rowan, thank you for all the hard work you do, because you make my job easier by finding these amazing varieties, and thank you for helping me cook today. It's been really fun.
No worries, thank you.